Hi there, this is Carrie Mubarak at wooingnature.life. Geminis, I'm bringing you your reading for the month of May. I'm going to be reading from the Sacred Earth Oracle, followed by the Archetype Cards with Carolyn Mace. And then I'll also be reading from the Tarot of 1001 Nights and then end with the Alphabet for Lovers. And the Lovers cards for this go round, instead of focusing mainly on romantic relationships, I'll be focusing on all relationships, any relationships that you may be encountering during the month of May, Gemini. All right, so we're going to start off with the Sacred Earth Oracle, and then this one I just shuffle 3 times and then cut, and whatever we see, the first 2 things that we see there that come up on the top will be your focus for May, or things that you want to focus on for the month of May. All right, a lot of people have been getting the shift, and we also have absence here. So the shift I'll start with first, because there is a major shift happening right now, as most of you know, or if you all have been keeping up with the ascension process, or anybody who is at this time trying to elevate their energy field and elevate their frequency to the next level. That is called a shift. That's what we call a shift. So there is a major shift happening for all of us, and with the current global health crisis that's going on, the shift is showing up in a lot of people's readings. So right now you just want to breathe, relax, take a break, Gemini, and try to go with the flow as much as possible. The idea here is to release any old karmic debt or any other kind of old energy that you've been moving and operating with up to this point, especially if you find that formal rules are not applying. So if you try to do something in the same form or the same fashion, or if you try to communicate in the same form or fashion and you're getting blowback or you're getting pushback, it's because that form is no longer working for you, and it's time to find a different method, a different way, a different avenue. So this shift is as much individual as it is collective. So the collective shift really is about us moving away from our egoistic ways of operating solely off of the self or for selfish reasons. We are also learning about how to connect with each other again in a more wholesome way. And we're also looking at just raising the vibration, the general energy vibration up some or out some, whichever way you want to think about it. I try not to think of things as up, lower, or higher per se, but for lack of vocabulary, we'll just stay with that. But the main thing is that you are operating at a frequency that's a little more what is the word I want to use? Definitely introspective, but also interrelational. So you want to be relating to each other right now. And I think it's interesting that, you know, we're having to keep safe distance from each other, but it's also allowing us to really think about what it means to be together. So that's information about the shift. And then we have absence here. Now, absence is an interesting card for me, because we can be present and be absent. We can be in the room and also not be there. So I want you to pay attention, Gemini, to when you're checking out of a situation, or places where you have checked out. And I also want you to think about when you are absent and when you have checked out, what the rest of the world is missing and what they are not getting from your lack of being there. So this could be physically you being absent from a situation, or it could also be energetically you are absent. So we want to think about that. Now also there's this idea that absence makes the heart grow fonder. So maybe if you are have pulled away from a situation, or if you are pulling back from some of the situations, some of the social dynamics that you are involved in, that may be creating for you the element in for the significant others that they're missing you, or they're feeling you, or they're wanting your presence in their space. So also, absence doesn't have to be necessarily a negative. I do want you to be aware of where you're checking out, but sometimes we need to pull away from our current dynamics so that we can regain our energy and our fire and our power, so that we can search inwardly to our heart chakra, or to the things that are important to us. So if you are experiencing this right now, or if that is your experience, then know that whatever is happening is in divine purpose, is in divine order. But I want you to take into consideration all those things, because sometimes absence is necessary, and sometimes absence is just checking out. And so we don't want you to check totally out. We want you to be checked in when you need to be. And then if you need to take a moment or take a break, and need to, find your own space, by all means do that. Okay? All right, so moving right along, we're going to the Carolyn base cards, the archetype cards. These are archetypes, meaning these are personalities. So these may be actual people that you're encountering for the month of May. It also might be the types of person, it might be personality types that you want to be more attentive to, or it could be energies that need your attention, or it could be something also that you are rocking with too, that you need to pay attention to. So I'm just going to pull 3 of the archetype cards, and then what I do with these is, if they come in reverse, then I read the shadow side, because these cards have shadow and they also have light attributes. So if they come in upside down, I'll read the shadow, or we'll assume, or not assume, but we'll take that as whoever or whatever the energy is that is operating in the shadow. And then if it comes in the upright, then I'll read the light. Okay? All right, so just 3 cards for Gemini people, or personalities, or energies that Gemini wants to, that they need to pay attention to in the month of March. All right, Gemini, good news. We've got 3 cards all coming in the upright, which means they're all light attributes, but we'll just be listening and paying attention. So the first card up is the scribe. The scribe is somebody who is preserving knowledge or preserving information. Now, Gemini, you guys are you all are really great at gathering information, or gathering or garnering information. And matter of fact, Geminis are information magnets. They love information and they love facts. So this could very well be you, or you may be taking some time to either organize or write down some of the things that you are learning about right now, Gemini, in the month or during the month of May. Or you could just be trying to chronicle what you already know. But I think that that's an important process for you. And also, it could also be other people in your cipher as well that may be doing this. But I really do feel like this is you more than anything, because you all have that mercurial way with you, and you're already in that information and knowledge, and passing information and knowledge on. So find a way to journal, or to keep up with what you're learning and what you're taking in right now, because it could be of benefit to somebody else along the line. So I would definitely recommend journaling for you all, or just taking notes wherever it is that you take notes, on your phone or what have you, or you could do a video journal as well. So the main thing is to keep a track of what's happening and what you're learning right now. And I think this definitely is during the month of May rather than in the past. But if there is some information that is carrying over, then get that down too. All right, we've got the hero or the heroine, depending on your gender specificity. And this is a person for a passion for a journey of personal empowerment. So there's I'm seeing this right now. And then there's also some other things coming up in relationship to mountain experiences for people. So this is a journey that you need to take. It's probably an internal journey, or it could be an external one. You may find that you want to take a retreat, maybe when all of this is over. Hopefully all of this will be over sometime in May with the global health crisis, and you can get out and actually take a retreat. But this is really finding the hero within yourself, Gemini, really finding that the person within you that you admire the most. And think about your heroes. Think about the people that you admire. Think about those people who have inspired you in some way. And I think that this journey is really to help you see the similarities between yourself and this and the heroes that you may be looking up to, that you start to really see that some of those attributes are really inside yourself. But it says a passion for a journey for personal empowerment, and this would be a good time to take that journey. So I'm feeling like both of these are you right now. And then we have a storyteller, which I think that this is also appropriate given that we're talking about being the scribe, taking down these notes. Some of you may be writing a book. Some of you may be writing an article for a magazine, something that that this experience here may be leading you toward. But I think that you're supposed to be writing that down, or writing down that process. And then when you do, you become the storyteller. The storyteller attributes are the ability to experience and express life through stories or through symbols. So for those of you who are artistic in nature, or musicians, there's a lot of Gemini musicians out there, use your creative outlet to share or to express what you are experiencing at this time. So I really do feel like all three of these, Gemini, relate to you more so than they are about people around you. But if you do run into somebody that you really highly respect, or during May, or if you are around a good storyteller, take notes. And then of course you'll want to write down the things that are happening to you right now. And I've been recommending that for a lot of people because we are going through this very influential, this is a very influential moment in all of our lives, throughout all, for people all over the globe. And so I've been encouraging everyone to journal what you've been experiencing and what your takeaways are from this. But I feel like, Gemini, for you, there's something really special here in that May experience, and by you taking the moment to write it down, it may really turn into something, even if it's just a blog post or something like that. I think that what you are seeing and feeling and taking in from this experience is going to be significant, and I think that you can probably tell it in a way that only Geminis can. So there you go for that. All right, so I've been telling everybody when I started this the May reading, Spirit told me to make sure that I tell everybody a story, and so I brought out the Tarot of 1001 Nights, because I think those are really my favorite storytelling cards. So I'll be reading from the tarot, just looking to see what else we need to be paying attention to, Gemini, for May, just to kind of see what's going on and dig a little deeper into your life experience right now. Just give us some idea of how Gemini is moving and maneuvering in the month of May. Thank you. All right. So, right off the bat, we have the Nine of Wands actually coming in reverse. The Nine of Wands for me represents being the sort of you trying to find that space. I think this goes back to that mountain experience, trying to find your time away, or trying to find a space that's kind of away from everybody and also up. I'm seeing that with the tree. You may be having some difficulty with that coming in reverse that way. Maybe this is what you want and what you desire, but you haven't quite been able to find that space. But I think that that is what um, that hero experience, that climbing experience is all about. When we think about climbing up a mountain, it really is about retreating. It's about going away from what you normally have to experience on a day-to-day basis, whether it's work or life or home or family or, relationships or what have you, just to kind of get a retreat and get some space in your mind where you can think through that. And I'm getting that there's a time that this is a good time for that. And I'm getting that from also from the other cards. You need to relinquish and to do away with some old patterns, some old thoughts, some old ways of operating, because you need to be renewed right now. And I feel like your spiritual guides are helping you with that. The fact that we've got the 2 nines coming up, the 9 in reverse with this card, and then this 9 here tells me that you're coming to an end of a cycle or end of a phase. And when you come to the end of a phase, then wanting to get away, wanting to spend time with yourself, needing to be quiet becomes important. And it's also there so that you can see what it is that needs to be released or surrendered or done away with. But I feel like your spiritual guides are guiding you in that direction, probably during your sleep for the most part. So get your sleep, because your sleep is when some of that that processing is happening for you, Gemini. Might also be a good time to write down your dreams too. All right, so we have here the Courage card. You're dealing with a lot. You're taking on a lot, but this is saying to have courage. Everything isn't as bad as it seems. It may seem daunting. Things may seem overwhelming for you, Gemini, but just remember that this is all also a part of the process. You have to stay focused. You have to stay diligent. You have to have your fortitude. So if there's any fears that you might be dealing with right now, this would be also a good time to address them during the month of May. And sometimes we have to really think about our fears, because they'll creep up on you. That's what fears are like. They creep up on you, All right, let's see what else we have for Gemini for the month of May, other things to focus upon. All right, I'm seeing that you are finding your way to new pastures, new territory, probably with other individuals that can relate to you more. So it's new territory. New territory. I feel like that new territory is within, though, and it'll also be reflected without. So really the new territory that you're coming into is inside of yourself. Okay, it's like discovering new things. And I think also with this learning, when we're talking about you needing you need to the scribe card, where you're having to write down this new information that's coming into you. The information that's coming to you is not like the information that you're accustomed to receiving. You're just kind of like in the news center, but there's new news now, and so that news needs to be documented. It needs to be documented, and you're the one to do that. So it's a whole new territory for you right now, and you'll just have to kind of get adjusted to it, but it won't be a bad adjustment, Gemini. It really won't. All right, I'm still seeing here just some conflict, but the conflict is really about your perception, where you see yourself versus where you want to be. Right now, you're looking at the horizon, you're looking ahead of you, and you're anticipating how to get across to the other side, but you're not going to be able to do that until you've gone through some of this processing here. Okay, it's going to take you a few minutes, and just take your time. Take your time with it. Again, the dreams, dealing with your fears, getting closer to those individuals that are going to help you navigate the new territory. Just be open, Gemini. It's time to be really open right now. And that's going to help you gain perspective, because I'm getting that your perspective might be the issue, and especially if you are dealing with some fears, okay? Fears can cloud your perspective. Hold on, I'm dropping cards. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, it's about perception, and I feel like your perception is being clouded by some of the fears that you still may be operating with. But things are moving quickly. You are rising above some other issues or experiences that you've had before. There are things that there was something that you were building on before, and you came pretty far with that, but it got to the point where you couldn't go any further, you couldn't go any higher, and so now you're having to rethink what that looks like. And by rethinking what that looks like, it really does give you the power to stretch your wings, and it also gives you the power to move on to the other territory that we're talking about. And again, remember, the new territory within creates the new territory without. So if some of you are wanting to, I'm going to say some of you who may have been wanting to move or to rethink what, or not do the same thing you've always done. That's what it is. It's like you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, because it just creates a pattern for yourself where you can't let go, or you can't release, or you can't deal with some of the fears that you've been struggling with. Okay? Hold on one second, please. Okay, now we have the Venerable Woman number 2, which is, to me, it's about being honored, being respected, knowing what you feel respected about, what you value, what you consider to be your core values internally, and bringing those things to light. If you're looking for any kind of recognition whatsoever, then that's where you want to go. You really want to go to your finest traits, your finest, most ethical, most moral traits here, and bringing those into light is going to push you ahead. It's going to push you ahead. All right, I'm also seeing some, I'm seeing a change in territory here coming also in with the number 9. Being prepared for that. Right now, you're not there yet. You're looking over the horizon. You're waiting for it to come through for you, but you're not quite there. You've got to go and take some chances right now, and you're also going to have to make this connection with this other group of people that I'm telling you about. So there's some steps, Gemini, before you get there. Don't worry about it so much. It's really about going with the flow right now. Again, we're talking about shifts and going with when we're talking about the shift, you have to really be able to go with the flow. Everything is happening in its own divine order. You don't have to push it, and you don't have to force it. You just have to let it happen naturally. And when you let it happen naturally, then things can kind of materialize and come together the way that it needs to. But I think the main thing is just to know that while you are trying to find your way, as you are trying to get to new territory, as you're trying to change your perspective, just know that everything that is coming towards you, even if it seems like it's a negative situation, it's really trying to push you toward where they want you to go. And where they want you to go, there's something bigger, there's something greater than what you realized or what you were expecting. But you just have to be willing to take that chance, and it is some chances that you have to take. The main chance that you have to take is to get over this hump, the thing that you are fearing the most. And it could be rejection, it could be success, it could be failure. Any of that is fair game. But I'm seeing in both of these cards here, in this 9 and 3, that you're being prepared to go to a broader, a bigger place, a bigger place. And I think that the bigger place is really more or less in your own mind, Gemini. And then once that expansion happens, once the expansion happens here, then you can see all kinds of possibilities for your life, because they just mimic each other. You know, the experience that you're now having is just a reflection of the experience you're having within. So right now, with you getting this new information in, it's going to broaden your horizons. And as it broadens your horizons, then your horizons just get broadened. That's just how it is. You're going to start looking for new things. You're going to start looking for new experiences. Yeah, you've been feeling like you've been held down, anchored, and held back. And it's really here, Gemini. It's really here. So, any other information for Gemini, please? For the month of May, any other insights for Gemini for the month of May? No. All right, so just to recap really quickly, you are trying to get away, trying to find your mountain experience. Mountain experience is you going away so that you can get still, so you can get quiet, so you can breathe, relax, and find your inner self. And that's where you're going to start releasing some of those old things, old fears, changing your perspective, being able to rise above where you were before, quite fluidly, expanding your territory, connecting with other people, and exploring the possibilities that come from being with people who are also expanding their minds. And then what comes out of that is you being able to stretch yourself into a different place. You're coming unbound, unloosed, unloosened, and unanchored, so that you can receive that blessing that you've been waiting for, the thing that's much bigger than you, or your ship to come in. And the main thing is to just remain honorable and truthful in your dealings, and that's going to really push anything that you're doing forward at a faster pace. Or if you're looking to get through it quickly, the best way to do it is just to let go of that old stuff, fears especially. All right, so moving right along into the relationship category. And again, this is relationships of all kinds today. So wherever this makes sense for you, or wherever it resonates, or if it resonates at all, just kind of take that with you, and we'll go from there. So I'm reading from the alphabet for lovers. That's all kinds of love relationships, whether they're with our parents, our children. It could also be with a significant other, a spouse, our partners. Looking to see if we have any other relationship focus for the month of May. All right, good deal. All right, so here we have luck and love. So if any of you all are looking to have some relationships, this is my crazy heart, which is the love relationship. I'm seeing some partnerships here, maybe even some weddings, some marriages. Some of you have been holding a candle for somebody, or really have a flame, still have an old flame that you're looking to come back to you. It looks like that may be the case here. So for some of you, this is a love relationship, something that's coming back, or you're feeling very lucky as far as that's concerned, and that's a really positive experience. I feel like that's probably a romantic situation there. And then we have you opening to new channels. Remember, I was saying that you're going to be connecting with other people, other places, people who are experiencing what you're experiencing at the same time that you are. This is a good building tool, and there's some people that are going to be that you're going to be drawn to. I'm still seeing musical instruments here. So again, music as a form of self-expression. It could be a concert. You could be connecting and meeting with people at a concert or a music event, but I feel like music is very important in this particular situation, and music does always, or sound always, opens new channels channel. So sound meditation, if you come across a meditation class that deals with sound, singing bowls, anything like that, you may find that you're going to make some connections there with other individuals. I also feel like listening is important in relationships, and if you want to open new channels of communication, then listening is very important to you right now, Gemini, too. And then we've got control and submission here. So for some of you, you may be in a relationship where control mechanisms are being used. Maybe somebody is trying to make you fit into their way of thinking, or they're coming in and trying to fix you or change you or something like that. Also, you want to be mindful if you're doing that, Gemini, as well. This is not about fixing or changing anybody. It's just about finding those people who you naturally connect with. You don't need to try to control any situation that you may be in. And that goes with all relationships, okay? I feel like these two cards are any relationship. It's about listening and communicating so that you can open to new channels open new channels of communication in any of your relationships. And that's anybody where you may be having communication issues. You need to open and you need to listen there. And then also, we're not trying to control. If anybody's trying to control you, or you're feeling like you want to try to fix or change or mold people, to shape people to kind of fit into your way of thinking and operating, that's not what you want to do right now, okay? And then also, you don't want to be submitting to that either, okay? So just something to think about there. Let's see what else I see here. Yeah, I feel like who in this relationship, somebody is not quite together. You know, they might not have all of the pieces together. And if they don't have all of the pieces together, then they may want to force your hand or force a hand to try to feel better about themselves. Sometimes when you don't have your stuff together, in order for you to feel better about the fact that you don't have your stuff together, then you want to focus on somebody else and what they're doing, or you want to try to change or shift or put all of that energy around changing on another person, instead of focusing that on what you have to change about yourself or what needs to change about you, okay? So just want to make you aware of that as you're dealing with your relationships. Okay, Gemini, that is your reading for the month of May. I hope you have a great May. Some of you guys will be celebrating birthdays or bringing in your birthday toward the end of the month. So I hope you have a great month. I hope you have a pleasant day, and I hope you're having a wonderful life.